Alright guys, we're here looking for bedding sand. That pile right there. We are going to be trenching for utilities tomorrow. Power, you know, all the stuff to the new barn. So I got to get some bedding sand for the trench, and this is the closest place that had it. It's like $10 a ton, I guess. So I told him to get 7 tons, and I think we'll probably end up needing 2 loads. But 7 tons is about what I hauled when I hauled all the gravel and stone and stuff for the pad to the barn. Big old loader. Tear was 18,460 pounds. The net, 15,480. Total, 33,940. All right, guys, we're digging a trench for utilities here. Okay. Okay guys, so far so good. We are probably about 20 feet away from the building. As you can see, nice trench going all the way down here. Digging has been pretty easy. We're starting to hit a little bit more frost over here just because all this earth was disturbed. So we just threw the ripper on and we're just gonna rip the rest of the way to the building, and then we'll go back with the bucket and clean it all up. So far so good. We've made it all the way down to the house. we got the trench all the way to the building. Honestly, I was anticipating more rock, but I guess that's a good thing. Frost was the hardest part, but the ripper made it easy. It's good having the right attachments. Whatever you want. Lou, do not be like your brother and fucking fall in the trench, you idiot. Louie, go in. Louie, go inside. All right. Okay, so this portion of the trench is done. That will get power from the house up to the barn. Now, in an effort to be economical and just make life a little easier, our panel is going to be right here in this corner. And then we're going to also, obviously the whole building's going to be electrified, but I want a welding plug in that back corner, basically by that overhead door, and there's going to be one over here as well. So because that wire is pretty expensive, because it's bigger gauge wire, instead of going up, over, and then down, we're just going to trench straight across diagonally. So I got to move some of this equipment so that we can do that. Pretty beefy, right?
Mine is half
this.
A third the size, and it lifts 3/4 yard of concrete, no problem. It is nowhere. I have a candy count.
Yeah, it's nowhere near the size of that, right?
That thing is twice as big, if not 3 times as big as my candy count. This thing will lift a fucking house.
Yeah, I think so.
The benefit I have is it rotates, but that's like an option.
Yeah.
It's like an extra option.
They might make one that rotates. This is pretty new. Like
this thing is heavy duty. For this much weight, the track width concerns me a little bit. But
yeah, I was surprised that they were so skinny, but So we got the trench here inside of the building all dug out. As you can see, the machine is straddling it. This little mini dumper did a hell of a job. It's a perfect piece of equipment for this. Just, you know, made a little pile there. And then Hank was also dumping some stuff out here. He says he has one of these, but it's like half the capacity. And this one seems to be built better, you were saying?
This thing's a beast.
It's a beast?
Beast.
It's a beast.
Holds about double.
Holds about double his. He said his, the whole hopper rotates though, so you could drive parallel to a trench and be dumping into the trench, which this does not do. But it could be an option. I'm not too sure. But this I don't use too often. It's the Baumlight DT515RH. No idea what that stands for. Dumper tracked, maybe. But I just call it the mini dumper, and it works pretty well. Perfect piece of machinery for this. Now I'm gonna try and get off of this trench for the first time, so bear with me. Yeah, I can see that caving in pretty easy. Yeah. But all right. Well, all right, guys, that is gonna wrap it up for today. As you can see, we got the electric stubbed off right there at the house, and our trench comes all the way up. It's just starting to rain, so we finished at the perfect time. It's not supposed to rain much, but nonetheless. So as you can see, it comes all the way up over to the inside of the building. To over here where our panel is going to be, right here next to this window. And then we trenched across the building to over here. We are one stick of PVC short, but I will go and grab that probably tomorrow, and then we can just stub it up. And basically we decided this welding receptacle is going to come up somewhere in between like these two posts right here. So that should be that. So all in all, this went pretty well. This, you know, took, I don't know, 5-6 hours, I guess, to do. I've never done it, and Hank was letting me, you know, obviously operate the excavator and dig the trench. I thought I did a pretty good job, kept them pretty clean. So we should be basically all set for the electrician. He should be coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Then once he is done, we will get it spray foamed. Then once it's spray foamed, Hank will come back and do the concrete inside the building. All the concrete that's going to happen outside the building will wait till it warms up. And also that's not quite as important, but we want to get, you know, the slab poured inside the building. That way, you know, we can start finishing, you know, the rest of the interior of the building. But okay, we are back the next day. I'm just walking out to the International here. Like I said and showed in the beginning of the video, we went and picked up about 7 tons of bedding sand for the trench that we dug yesterday, and I'd like to get some of that in, but we kind of have a problem. The truck's been sitting here with the sand in the back for about 2 days, and it's not really ideal, but as you can see here, we have developed considerable flat tire here. Now, I'm not exactly sure if there's a leak in the tire or if potentially when they mounted these tires to the rims, because that really wasn't all that long ago, I've noticed like a slow leak ever since then. So I'm thinking maybe it's like a valve stem that needs to be tightened up, or maybe it's just leaking, because the tire was fine before that. So let's fire this thing up. We'll back it up to where I have the air compressor and try and fill it up as much as we can. My air compressor doesn't even have enough PSI to fill these tires. It only goes up to about 100, and I think these tires require like 115 or 20 or something like that. But let's see if she'll start up. It hasn't really been that cold. That's just beeping for the air brakes. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, no problem. This truck starts up real good. Well, this just got a lot worse. I guess my best bet is to try to just offload this dumpster up by the building, get the weight off this, because that's no good. We're not getting air in that. So my plan is to drop the dumpster full of sand like right in this general area, and then utilize the excavator to kind of offload it into the little mini tracked dumper, which is currently tucked away in here, and then utilize that to kind of drive down along the edge of the trench and dump it in. From there, I'll probably use the excavator to kind of like, you know, spread it out. We'll see how gingerly we're able to spread out the sand material with the mini dumper. But for now, let's try to get this dumpster up here and in place. We made it. It's not pretty, but we made it. See if we can get it unloaded without doing anything too stupid. All right, that looks a lot better without all that weight on there. We might be able to get that to seat. It looks like it's, you know, pretty much on the bead there. We'll see. But at least we got the sand up where we need it to be, so we will be able to work on that project today, no matter what. All right, so I just had an idea. I can probably use the air tank on the truck itself to fill up the tire, because it goes well past 100 PSI. All right, we're just gonna park it for now. I don't have time to mess with that. We got more important things to do today. Sarah took our son basically for the day out to do a couple different things with some friends and stuff. So I basically have the entire afternoon to myself, which is rare. So I want to try and get some stuff done. The excavator's been warming up there. We got to track it down, get some fuel, pump some grease into it, and then we should be able to get underway here. Well, that worked good for about 30 seconds. Then we lost the track. It's completely off, covered in mud. This is a mess. This might not even be worth it. Let's see if we can manage to dump the rest of this first load here. Yeah, today's not the day. Just pop that track instantly. So maybe I over tightened it. Today's not the day. All right, so when I just threw that track, I actually threw both tracks. So I just got done putting both tracks back on. So a total of 3 tracks. I think I must have over-tensioned them. So hopefully this time I did not. Let's see if we can get out of here. All right, this is looking pretty good. I think I'm actually just gonna leave it like this because the inspector needs to be able to see the pipe. So now at least it's covered up. Shouldn't really shift. I don't know why it would shift, but you can go inside, do the same thing. Dump a couple. I still gotta get one more section of pipe for down there. Okay, took 2 different Home Depots to source the conduit, but we got it, and now we can say that this trench, you know, is done, at least for this pipe. All right, we're here at Hill and Dale Auto Service to get this tire hopefully back on the rim, on the bead. So, see how this goes. It's a little camera. I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
So I blew the tire getting sand while making a video. So now I gotta now you're getting fixed. And I filmed myself failing yesterday trying to get it back on the bead like I told your buddy here. So now I gotta get the professionals.
Ready? Just your hand. It's a hot position. Now?
Oh, that was close. That was close. There we go.
Major YouTube channel.
All right, major YouTube channel. There you go.
I'm a mechanic. I don't even do this shit.
All right. Oh no, we lost.
Came off? Yeah. It's not enough airflow.
That's. I think the valves. Can we pull the valves down?
Keep doing it. The personal truck?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go on a dump company or?
I do tree work.
Oh, nice.
So I haul my excavator, I haul logs, I haul a chipper. Arborist, yeah.
Arborist.
Yep. There you go. Oh, you got to get air on it quick. Do you have one of the chucks that just locks on? No. He said he's never really done this, only watched videos of people doing it. All right, got it all filled back up, ready to go. All right, now I think I'm gonna throw the grading bucket on the excavator and just try to clean up all of this mess that is on the top from all the frost. We got the guys coming to not only put on the additional lean-to roof over on that gable end for the boiler. They are coming tomorrow. But we also have the garage door installers coming on Tuesday. So I really don't want this to be a sloppy, muddy mess, you know, holding water with all these ruts and stuff. So I think the easiest way is just with the grading bucket to kind of quickly scrape all this stuff up, and I can put it into the pile here, you know, with all the spoils from the trench and let it all dry out. But it's not gonna dry out all that much just the way that it is right now. All right, guys, that's a little bit better. You know, it's not perfect, just very rough grade. Scraping up all this mud, put it in the pile. Hopefully all that dirt will dry out over the next couple days. This is all still pretty soupy, but at least now, you know, we scraped off the majority of the muck on top. So hopefully this will, you know, harden up over the next couple days as well. Shouldn't really need to be getting in here, at least until I get the inspection. And today is Sunday, so I can apply for the inspection as early as tomorrow morning online. So yeah, we'll give this some time to solidify. And this week, like I said, garage doors are going on, as well as the roof on the back for the boiler. That's going to be a 10 by 10, but I'll show you that, you know, in another video probably. Okay, next thing I got to do is load back up the dumpster can onto the back of the truck and drive it up here to scrape out the remaining bedding sand for the trench, because I need the dumpster can to deliver a tote of firewood to one of my customers that gets it delivered by machine, you know, in the tote. I'm going to do that either today or tomorrow. It is currently 4 o'clock and I got the spray foam contractor coming between 4:30 and 5 to do a final measurement on the barn, just to make sure that the estimate that they gave us is accurate now that the barn is fully up, the doors are on, you know, this, that, and the other thing. So the other day when I was loading up the mini dumper, you can see, you know, I got everything pretty good, but I'm gonna load this on. Then I'm going to drive the truck forward up, you know, the driveway to the barn and park, you know, next to the barn, and then dump it up. And I'm hoping that everything will fall, you know, to the back more or less, and I can, you know, scrape all the sand out up against the back door. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. That hill's really not so bad when you're driving up it. It's backing up it with 7 tons of sand in the back. When it gets a little sketchy. But yeah, this should work out good. I'm just gonna drop the can right here, kind of leave it on the truck on an angle, and got the excavator warming up. Mini dumper over there. All right, I think that'll work for now, at least. If I gotta like actually drop the jib down, then I will, but I think that'll be all right. I don't like the positioning of this. My thumb's getting in the way of the door, so I think I'm better off just dropping it down like I would be taking the can off, so it's less of an angle and I can go up and scoop up against the back of the door. So we'll try that. That should be a lot better. And for safety, I do have the wheels totally on the ground, and you know, the suspension is no longer strained. But yeah, having a hook lift, pretty darn handy. It's like a big wheelbarrow. All right, well, we got pretty much all of it out of there. I need to get another load of this stuff anyway, but at least that frees up the dumpster can for my firewood delivery, which I will now do tomorrow. We had a little break there because the spray foam insulation guy came, but yeah, just putting everything back. First night, everything will be in here all closed off with the doors, so excited about that. So this has been happening a lot. I'll go to start the truck and I turn the key on, everything lights up, the dashboard lights up and everything, but when I actually turn the key to start it, it's dead, nothing. So I have just been jumping the starter solenoid, but that's not ideal. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it just does it in the middle of when I'm driving, the truck will just die and I have to pull off to the side of the road and restart it with the wrench. It always starts right back up, but I can't find anything that's wrong. I replaced the ignition. I thought it was maybe a bad ignition. I'm gonna have to start tracing wires and stuff, but I just don't have time for it right now. See, it starts right up. All right, guys, we are back out here at this electrical utility trench project several days later. As you can see, we got a bunch of snow on the ground. It's been snowing on and off for the past couple days, a couple inches here, a couple inches there. By now, we probably have about, I don't know, 6 inches on the ground. It's not ideal, but looking at the forecast coming up, it's gonna stay cold the next couple of days, and then it's gonna start warming up. So I feel like despite all the snow, we have to get this trench backfilled in, and I'd like to do as much of that as I can today, because once all this starts melting, this is going to be a real muddy, soupy mess out here. At least right now it's hard. It's going to stay frozen today, especially with all the snow insulating the ground. So I know it's not ideal with this snow in here, but you know what, it's just going to melt anyway and be groundwater. So I'd like to get this trench done today. I've been out here and I plowed yesterday, but probably another 2-3 inches fell since I last plowed, and the road up here to the barn is covered with a fresh layer of snow. I need to get another 7 tons of bedding sand to put in the trench and backfill over the pipe before I can start backfilling with dirt. So in order to do that, I need to be able to get the truck up here to the barn, ideally in this area right here next to the barn like I did before. Then I can drop the can down and start scooping it out with the excavator into the Baumolite mini dumper, to which I can then go to the trench, dump it out, spread it out with the excavator. There's an order of operations to everything. So I need to fire up the tractor, I think, and in order to give myself a best shot of getting up here, just push this snow off the road, and hopefully then we can get up here. So let's see how that goes. All right, well, the truck should be nice and warm. At least it's been idling here for like 45 minutes, an hour. Oh yeah, nice and toasty. All right, now we just gotta figure out where he is. Loaded down here. It's definitely a little more material than we had last time. Things are, at least over here, starting to melt up, so I'm hoping that we can get up this hill with little to no issue. I'm just gonna go for it. We're just gonna send it when we get back. Okay. That was sketchy. Started sliding back. Okay. keeping you here is the air brakes, which is fine. Just trying not to go off the hill here. I was hoping we'd be able to just creep up, but I don't think we can. Okay, we're back on the road. We're back on the road. That's good. Yeah, I might need to hit that part of the hill with the excavator. That was too close for comfort. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh yeah. No, this is not smart. We gotta get off this hill. As soon as I start hitting the brakes, it just locks up. Okay. Whew. That was sketchy. I kind of had a feeling, but wishful thinking, I suppose. That was sketchy as hell. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. We're like basically down to all asphalt millings here. I think I could almost creep up this like in first gear and make it all the way up to the top. Maybe not right here, but I think that's what I'm gonna try first. No problem. That worked great. Man, am I glad I took the time, the 10 minutes to do that, because that just saved me hours of shuttling material back and forth. Hell yeah. Now we know. Because I was gonna say, guys, this road isn't gonna be this steep, at least approaching the barn, like right here, forever, but by any means. We're gonna taper all this out and bring in a ton of fill. I was just actually talking to the gentleman where I got this sand from, because I'm probably gonna be getting a lot of fill from him to taper all this out until like that little skinny tree down there and like by the wood pile is all gonna be tapered out so that it's a nice gradual slope so that we don't have to get it down to, you know, bare dirt. But also, once the barn is done and we're in there, it's rare that I'm gonna have to bring up a load of like 8-9 tons of sand right after a snowfall, you know. So take it with a grain of salt. Obviously it's not ideal right now, but we just crawled right up it, no problem. But moving forward, you know, this is not going to be like this. But we've wasted enough time. It's past noon. Let's get this thing unloaded and start moving some material. I'm excited. While I still have the ripper tooth on, as you can see, I just wanted to see what the status of this dirt was. I want to make sure these piles, because they've been here for like over a week now, that they're not too frozen, but it doesn't seem like they are. All right, so I'm pretty sure the tracks are just frozen to the ground. Watch this. All right, let's see if that, I mean, that had to have done it. load was a success. We got a lot more to go. As you can see, we got the dumpster back up on the back of the truck. Excavator moved out of the way. We were able to scrape that really clean. There's just like a little bit up in the very corner by where the door opens up. The Baumolite mini dumper worked much better. Did not lose any tracks, did several loads, as you saw in the time lapse there. And we'll start inside the building here. But the inspector told me I need 12 inches of bedding sand above my pipe minimum. So I think I'm gonna have a lot more than that, because in my opinion, the more bedding sand you have, the less problems you'll have down the road. It's just, you know, a little insurance. Not that I was gonna backfill this with a bunch of rocks and stuff anyway. I basically just kind of dumped loads in all the spots that I didn't dump loads the other day, because the inspector needed to be able to see the conduit. So I'm hoping that now I can just kind of put on one of the other buckets, probably a smaller bucket, and for the majority of the trench, kind of just position the excavator right to the side of it with the boom offset a little, kind of use the bucket to spread all this sand out, so that it's no longer in the big piles, and then I can run my caution, you know, buried electric line tape in the trench and backfill the rest with the dirt that's over here. Well, we managed to get it spread out with the excavator as much as we could. I'm not even going to go down by the house. I'll just do all that by hand at a later date. But my big concern is getting this stretch from the concrete stairs that are covered in snow there all the way to the barn backfilled, because this is currently separating the yard. The dogs are hopping over it. It's just kind of a hazard. Got our caution tape in, pictures sent off to the inspector. I think we are ready to backfill. We need fuel. Man, do I love having this tank here. This setup is so darn convenient. The short drive down here from the building makes up for having to haul 5-gallon jugs. That is for sure. I also, when I made this whole tank setup video, I had a lot of people reach out and say, oh, you're never gonna use that much fuel. What do you need that much fuel for? Blah, blah, blah. It's only been a couple months and I'm already down almost to half a tank. So I'm definitely gonna use this fuel. It's only been like 2 or 3 months. Well guys, the trench is backfilled, all the way up to the barn at least. We haven't gone inside of the barn yet, but as I said, this was the priority from the barn to the house. We got the dirt down here that I've stockpiled to, you know, backfill in the rest of that little short stretch, whatever that is, like 12 feet. And as you can see, we have this hump here of dirt. Now, all this stuff off to the right, if you can see the elevation change, that's all from the trench. This stuff to the left, where it starts to taper down, was the natural topography of the backyard. Now, the goal, when all of this is fully done, is to continue shaving down over there and kind of level this whole thing out. So all of this dirt that's in this pile here from when we were digging over there, my intention is to spread it out. But right now, since all this stuff is pretty thawed out and I don't want to just leave it, I'm going to start pushing it this way and down towards me to kind of fill in this low spot and fill in like this low spot. Now, I kind of put a bunch of rocks over here, so maybe I'll bring the mini dumper over and load up all the small ones. There's a huge one here from when we were trenching by the house that I gotta move. We'll probably add that to the stone wall at some point. Okay, so I think this is where we're gonna leave off. We might try to tackle inside the barn, but we got done what I wanted to get done outside here. As you can see, trench only exposed down there. The entirety of it is backfilled, top dressed, plucked out some more rocks here. Now, I mean, is this to final grade? No, absolutely not. But did we get some of what I wanted to do over in this area, you know, starting to bring up the grade? Yeah, absolutely. Brought it up probably a good 6-8 inches over there. We're gonna need a lot more dirt. We have more dirt in this pile. We're gonna generate more dirt through digging out over there and behind the barn, but that is a project for another day. Like I said, this is what I wanted to get done, but I feel like we're so close. I should probably come in and just start messing with this. This isn't going to take all that long in the grand scheme of things. All right, well, we got all the piles of bedding sand spread out, compacted in here. Good with the bucket. So this looks pretty good. We are here at G&G Electric Supply in the Bronx, New York. Just picked up all of the materials for the electrician. Huge shout out to G&G and my cousin Jeff, who works here, who hooked me up with a great deal on all these materials. All right, guys, we are all loaded up and on our way home from the Bronx. It's quite a drive from where I live. Change of scenery going from the Bronx back home. We're just getting back into some trees and non-concrete jungle, if you will. But yeah, those guys over at G&G Electric and my cousin Jeff hooked me up big time with the friends and family discount. So this is pretty much everything that we should need, minus a couple odds and ends that we will need to get power to the barn and electrify the whole thing. All right, guys, back at this yard to get some more bedding sand here. Probably gonna pick up like another 7 tons. Well, we were able to make it back up here, absolutely no problem. Nice warm day. This road has been all asphalt since I scraped it the last time. Let's finish up this trench once and for all. pretty happy with that. That's looking pretty good. So we just got to fill it in the rest of the way now. We use up the rest of that sand and keep on compacting. Okay, well, that's where we are at. That is all of the bedding sand that I have. So the rest is gonna get dirt. In order to get my certificate of I can never say that. In order to get my certificate of occupancy, the last thing I need to do is raise up the grade in front of these two man doors, the French doors over there and this man door, to be within 7 inches of the threshold of the door, just to avoid any tripping hazards. And then the town will issue me my CO, and that needs to be 7 inches both inside and out. So I'm gonna fill up the mini dumper again with some more dirt to fill up, you know, the rest of the trench. And then I'm hoping we can tackle these, I don't even know what they're called, thresholds, I think they're called, a door saddle. I don't know. We don't need a lot here. We really don't need a lot on either of them. It's probably just like a couple scoops. And then they said I could just taper it out and kind of make like a ramp. It just needs to be here. This building, we did not apply for the permit with the concrete pad. I want to pull from this dirt here because this pile is kind of in my way. All right, truck just came off. It's back on now. We're losing daylight. Well, guys, this is what we're dealing with here. We're in the dark, but I think we basically got it done. All I need to do is hit all this with the plate compactor again tonight. Let me pull out my flashlight here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, basically I did just a little like pad here. So this should be adequate for the needs of the building inspector. You know, it's just like basically a little compacted hump. I'll hit that with the plate compactor. We might need a little bit more dirt. This one looks pretty good as well, as you can see. And then we go outside. We got it all lined up. And then if we walk over here through the door, we got another one right here. I just have to, again, hit this with the plate compactor. Okay, so this is the last section of this whole trench that we got to finish going up to the building here. And when we dug the trench, we hit this buried downspout line. Not a big deal. We're gonna cut it there. I got a new piece of PVC. We're gonna splice in. We got a Fernco fitting, we got a 45, and then we got new downspout adapters because, as you can see, mine is missing. So here we go. Okay, that's all back together. No big deal. I just got to do the coupler, but I need a Phillips head to remove the gutter from the house to get that fitting on. So let's get all this backfilled once and for all. All right, guys, hard to believe this is the last part of the project, but yeah, I guess it's a 4-inch. Okay, there we go. I think that's all it's got to be, really. I mean, I'm not going to even bother putting any cement on it, because in reality, where's it going to go, you know? It's Friday. We're supposed to get 17 inches of snow on Sunday into Monday. Oh man, so I gotta rest up, but I wanted to get this done. Well, all right, guys, I am calling it quits. That is it. Gutter connected, or downspout connected. Pipes for Cat 5 and electric stubbed up. We got our whole trench backfilled. Wow, the barn looks pretty cool on the camera here. Doesn't look quite like that in real life, but yeah. Trench all the way up to the barn, so that's awesome. This is my first time doing a real trench like this for utilities, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It all passed inspection, so that's the thing that really matters. So we're gonna have a lot more pole barn content coming up in the near future. Being that it's the winter, things get delayed because of weather and stuff like that. The electrician was supposed to start tomorrow. You know, I already picked up all the materials the other day. Unfortunately, that's getting pushed to next week because of the weather. It's gonna be like a high of 14 degrees tomorrow. So plus the snow, they're moving it to next week, understandably. But we are trying to get electric spray foam. Like I said, lots more content to come. So if you like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, consider clicking that subscribe button down below. Questions, comments, feedback, put it in the comments section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.